Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to this panel, and also congratulations to those who have organized this symposium for the first time. I think they need some applause for doing this, because it's a lot of work organizing something for the first time. This also fits to our topic, because if universities don't prepare our students for organizing such a meeting, then this symposium would not be possible. So what we will have a focus on this afternoon is have a look at our universities, and I'm glad to introduce you to our panel here, an international panel, and the topic for the day will be that we focus on two main questions. How can higher education prepare students for the challenges focused and faced by global executives? And how international should university be in order to provide students with an ideal education as international managers, and how realistic can this education be? Here we have a strong woman power on this panel. Since I am a member of the Austrian Parliament and also spokeswoman for science, I wish this would be more often, that we have a lot of strong women and strong women female scientists. This is not usual in Austria, so those coming from abroad, this is more the future than reality. But nevertheless, we have a very famous panel here, and I will introduce you here to Professor Danielewicz-Betz, and she speaks German. She will tell us afterwards why she speaks German, but she comes from abroad. She's assistant professor in Prince Sultan University of Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and welcome you, and thank you for coming. Now our second professor, Danica Burg, wanted to join us, but she got sick, so we wish her the best for the next days. But from Salzburg, which is not so far, our Vice Rector, Mrs. Sonja Buncher-Wickmann, is joining us. Thank you for coming. The third spokeswoman will be Professor Abermann. She's here from the University of Applied Science in Salzburg. So on one side, both women and both scientists are coming from Salzburg, and to my other side, we will have Riyadh. So joining us, we will have an international panel, but also focused on Austria and Austria's future too. From how are we going to organize this? We will have a longer statement, about 30 minutes, and then from Mrs. Danielewicz-Betz, she has prepared a statement for us to the topic, and then we have briefer introductions from both of you. Then we will have face the stage where you can ask some questions to the panel here and give some statements yourself too, and enrich this discussion. And after your statements, we will have a discussion here on the panel, so that the three experts can take in account some of the statements of the other women. So I wish us a nice and interesting afternoon. And I have to also apologize to Professor Günther, who is still in Linz, as far as I understood. So he will send us his statement afterwards. And I think since you have a report and a brief summary of the whole conference, maybe we can give his statement afterwards in the summary. But the three will take their time, and we need time because a lot to say, and now the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I will say a few words to myself. As you can see, I've got a foreign-sounding name. I'm I'm of Polish origin. I studied in Poland as well, and then I moved to Germany, where I completed my PhD studies and lived in Germany for 18 years. That's why I speak German as well. And then I took up the challenge to take a teaching position as an assistant professor at the University of Prince Sultan in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where I've been now for over 2 years, just started my third academic year. And I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me. My ex-student Sophia is on the organizing team, and I'm very much honored to be here and talk about higher education. And yes, the main question is going to be, how can higher education prepare students for the challenges faced by global executives? So if we look at the outline, I would like to say something about the employer expectations towards graduates of not just business programs, but generally speaking, in terms of what sort of skills and competences should students acquire during their time spent at universities to face the future challenges. Talk a bit about leadership from cross-cultural perspective, executive competence, and how these are related to the question of culture, global executive development, global challenges, and acquisition of those executive skills. And then, of course, the question that we have to pose here is what do we mean by internationalization of universities, and can we really talk just about internationalization, or is it really globalization? And that's about modern business school programs, especially I just mentioned 2 programs that are offered in Munich, and a very important question, sustaining quality of higher education, how this plays a role in the whole issue. And a bit about Saudi education, not too much, because I hope we'll have a discussion later on, so I won't go into this too much. And an attempt to look towards the future outlook for higher education. First, let's just look at the employer recommendation, because I think this is where we should start, and that's why I'm spending a bit of time on this. What actually employers, global companies expect from graduates. And as you can see, if we look at intellectual and practical skills, teamwork skills, and the ability to collaborate with others in diverse group settings, and diverse meaning, of course, culturally speaking, but also not just fellow engineers, fellow applied scientists, for instance, but across disciplines, the ability to actually communicate orally and in writing, critical thinking and analytical reasoning skills. And I would like to ask students, well, not just students, but of course those who've already finished their studies, well, have we actually acquired all those skills during our time at universities, or are we still in the process of acquiring those? Also the ability to locate, organize and evaluate information from multiple sources, very crucial, the ability to be innovative and think creatively, the ability to solve complex problems, the ability to work with numbers and understand statistics seems to be the key recommendation. Also in terms of personal and social responsibility, there's also partial overlap. Again, teamwork skills are very crucial, and understanding global issues and developments and implications for the future. A sense of integrity and ethics, which is again another question. Ethics does not translate cross-cultural as, cultural values and traditions. Why in America seems to be still very important. Most of the business programs come from America and are exported to other parts of the world. And of course, being aware of cultural values in other countries. And the key findings, this is all based on studies like the one quoted below. How should colleges prepare students to succeed in today's global economy? As you can see, I've underlined certain important findings like well-rounded education, again, teamwork skills, critical thinking, analytical reasoning skills, communication skills. And we have to see that colleges and universities should play a major role in in terms of influence it has on economic success of a given country. And there is still, of course, room for improvement there. And as you can see here, point 4 shows us that business executives interviewed still see potential for growth there. That the graduates, unfortunately, do not really show those skills needed to be successful in today's world. So again, at one glance, you have those main areas for improvement, placing more emphasis on developments in science and technology, teamwork again, and the ability to apply knowledge and skills to real-world settings, internships and hands-on experience. And I think this is very important. And all those other skills that I mentioned. Why am I stressing it again? So later on, when we come back to this in our discussion, that we remember that this is actually what companies expect from graduates. So again, you have these and of course, surveys about this have been conducted, and the executives have been asked how they see this issue of preparing graduates for those challenges, and also on the other hand, how our recent graduates see what is the focus for development. And as you can see, providing well-rounded education is one of the things, focusing on providing knowledge and skills in a specific field, which brings us to this liberal education. On the one hand, broad general knowledge, on the other, knowledge in a specific field. There should be balance of both. Again, you see, surprisingly, foreign language proficiency, as you can see here in this chart, at the bottom. I think this is because this is not an area where much improvement is needed. Nowadays, it's taken for granted that graduates do speak several foreign languages, and this doesn't even have to be mentioned here. So again, the other skills play a greater role, and these should be developed. Now, developing future leaders, we have to pose this question: what does that mean? How can we prepare graduates to become leaders of the future in a global environment? What does that mean if actually leadership is something very much culturally specific? Now, there's been this, especially American bias towards the pursuit of a universal model of leadership, and Americans tend to insist that what they think the necessary skills for leaders are the ones that should apply globally, but unfortunately this is not the case, and we'll see. I'll give you an example of what the key competences for leaders are when you look at, for instance, in Asian countries like Japan. This differs from what we would expect from an American leader, and so leading has to be taught as well in a global context, cross-cultural context, and we need to look towards leaders from all parts of the world in order to be able to tell how to prepare future leaders. And this American model that has dominated the world, should be upgraded. Just to put it in a diplomatic way. As you can see, this is an example of Asian Leadership Foundation, of course, in the Confucian philosophy, for instance, where a lot of stress is put on self-cultivation, kindness, trust, effectiveness, harmony, and what we see in American leaders, for instance, very much being aggressive, and in order to win a deal, for instance, to be successful, the measure of success is how